Good morning, humanity. Here we are. It's July 13th, 2020. And once again, it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, everybody. My name's Paul.
Good morning. This is Bev.
Hello, Bev.
Hello, Paul.
Yeah, life is great. We just had a great storm here. Finally got some rain in those
Oh,
mountains where it was flames for over a month. That mountain was burning for over a month.
oh my gosh. I'm so happy that you guys got some rain. Oh,
Yeah, half
great.
an inch in 20 minutes. That's a lot of rain.
Wow,
So, yeah,
it was just saving it up.
saving it up. All right, folks. So here we are. We're going to have a great show today. We're going to talk about meat suffering with BioTouch. Great little topic. But we did want to share with you, we did have a virtual training last week. We did it on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and we had an awesome time.
Really did.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
this virtual training, I'm telling you, folks, you really need to do it. Our next one's going to be on the 28th and 30th. That'll be 2 evenings in the Arizona time zone, 6 to 9:30. And I mean, we had Lady Colleen from New Zealand.
I know.
We had Illinois, Chicago. We had Oregon. We had in the Colorado area. We had Arizona. I mean, it's so awesome.
It's very wonderful.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
we show the points, and we actually break up into rooms and we practice the points and we can see whether you're doing it right or not. And really give you a sense of where the points are and how to apply the technique. Good questions, there's good dialogues. This is just an awesome way to teach.
It's this is the next step, isn't it?
Y-
For global training. Here
Yes.
we are, global training.
We have this weekend Michaela in Germany
I
doing
know.
a virtual training. If you're interested in that, I haven't found out if I'm assuming she's doing it in German. She has a fellow from Vienna who wants to get certified, so she's going to just do her virtual training. This is awesome. They said after this pandemic, things will never be the same. Well, I'm all for that.
Yeah, no, no, no. This is good. And BioTouch will be there on that
Yes,
other side.
it is. It's here now. It will be there on the other side, and it can be used immediately. And it can be used to meet our suffering. So, Bev, let's start it out. What the heck is suffering?
Well, suffering is one of those interesting thought forms that have been spoken of by, well, let's just start with the Buddha.
Yeah,
As we were talking earlier, he taught one of the noble truths and the eight gates, and all that is about suffering.
right.
This
It's
is what snapped him out of his whole
right,
thing, right?
right. Yeah,
He
the noble truth of suffering. That's the
Yeah,
premise.
and he noticed that humanity is suffering. So I'm just going to, through all of that ancient teachings that we've been given,
Well, even
suffering,
even in the Christianity, in the Jesus on the cross,
right?
the suffering of humanity.
Suffering is part of our deal here. It's just part of what we go through as a part of this human kingdom. And as you and I know, it's the suffering itself that brings us into our divinity. So it's so interesting. But when I think about suffering, I associate pain with that ultimate manifestation of all those other parts of ourselves that are going through this evolution and progression. So the suffering is, it's mental, it's emotional, it's this of the spirit, and then it manifests as pain.
Yeah.
And so I'm always reminded that BioTouch, I really believe this is one of the most powerful elements about this technique, is that it meets us where we are suffering.
Right.
And then it addresses the pain. So we're always talking about that light touch on the skin. It begins physically, but the body is yearning for all the other parts of itself to come into a wholeness. And then eventually that suffering gets met without even trying. That's the power of love. That's the power of that loving touch. There's no intention to, we're always saying there's no intention with biotouch, but the thought is that our hearts care enough about another human being to meet them in that place of suffering that they're in. And then the body and all those other beautiful parts of ourselves have this opportunity to open and to heal, because healing's not just about the physical body, as you
Right.
it begins to address the suffering within us. And as you and I both know, and as medical science is beginning to understand, this suffering is in our DNA.
Right. Yeah, it's when I was in Egypt and they were interviewing me on Al Jazeera TV, and calls came in from all over the Middle Eastern countries there, and as they translated the questions, the I had the recognition that suffering is universal. It might be we might have different languages, but we all have the same body and we all have the same suffering. And in that is a fear and the desire to just have a little bit of relief, and that's what I found is a common denominator for all humanity. And BioTouch really can meet us, as you were just saying, in that because it's a universal language. There's no, you don't even have to really have the words of the technique because you can just show it, and
Yeah,
everybody's body is the same.
right. I think, I've often thought that biotouch is here because um, in our little world of separateness and which has been going on for a very long time, that biotouch is here. It forces us, these little children, it forces us into this partnership of healing, this relationship. And once that is established with that greeting, it's like one human being saying to another with this touch, I am here to honor and witness your humanity, your suffering, your pain, your beautiful essence. That's the power of biotouch.
Yeah.
And it's just done with trust and safeness and togetherness. So
Let's read that from, we have it written right in our preface.
we do. Let us.
It's a big part of what we teach, and so we're just going to. Here's our manual there. You can get the manual. Hard copy can be sent to you, or you can get the ebook version just by going on to our website justtouch.com and become a member, and you'll get it right away. And here's a little bit out of the preface. Go ahead, Bev.
Here's what it says in our preface: with a simple intent to help one's fellow human beings and proper instruction, assistance may be initiated by any individual. No special talent is required to be effective. Everyone, because of their inherent love and compassion for those who are suffering, can perform these methods without limitation. That's the one thing that has come to me about BioTouch. Unlimited possibilities.
Right.
When two human beings come together, the power of two, it's unlimited possibilities of healing on every level.
So our goal is to really get this into your home, into your family. And that to meet our suffering, we're going to show you the greeting set here and we'll talk more about this suffering because just watching it, I was just hearing today about singing and chanting just by doing it. You don't have to have a focus on it. And that's the nice thing about BioTouch. You don't have to focus. You don't have to center yourself. You don't have to be out of your own suffering. in order to help another one. This thing we're calling just touching with love. It doesn't matter who I think I am or what kind of emotion I'm going through. The touching bypasses all that. So let's just watch that. Let's watch us do the greeting and just participate in a moment of relieving our suffering.
The greeting is always performed at the beginning of each session. It's the only set that uses one hand and the only set that indicates which hand to use. The greeting is performed with the dominant hand. If you are right-handed, use your right hand. If you are left-handed, use your left hand. The greeting is made by touching at point 1, which is in the fleshy area just below the bottom of the breastbone or sternum. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. Then, with the same 2 fingers, touch point 2 on the back. To find point 2, look for the big bone at the base of the neck. From here, move 1 to 1.5 inches to the left. This is point 2. Hold this point for 6 to 8 seconds. More than one associate may work with a recipient provided that all of the associates perform the greeting. If the associate or the recipient leaves the session, or if someone who hasn't done the greeting touches either the recipient or the associate, the greeting must be reestablished. Then the session may proceed from where it was interrupted.
You know, just the minute that went on, I went, whew.
I know. You know what? You cannot fail to receive BioTouch when you give it. It's impossible. When that practitioner was getting exactly what they needed when they were giving BioTouch. That's the incredible beauty of this. You cannot escape. You will have some kind of an effect yourself when you give. Isn't that the law? When you give and open yourself and you give just in a loving sense, you cannot fail but receive something back. It doesn't.
And I think what's important there is this giving in a loving sense is not a draining. You know, you're not going to get somebody's stuff.
Right.
When you reach out and touch with those 2 fingers, as Bev was just saying, you're receiving. And so if we really want to create our own healing, what we call self-healing, it's not about separating ourselves from those who have the bad juju or the bad energy or the negative thoughts. We really should take our 2 fingers and touch them. And you know what we're learning through this pandemic with a lot of us in isolation, even the power of just watching that video or thinking as you were working on a friend of yours, just think about, picture yourself touching those points, if nothing else, just the greeting on another human being. And healing is going to happen. This is how we're going to bring peace and tranquility to our suffering. Nobody likes to suffer. It's a terrible feeling to wake up to your suffering. BioTouch can meet us in that suffering and things will change. It won't be the same on the other side, just like they say with the pandemic. It ain't going to be the same. We don't want it the same.
We don't want it. So it's interesting because as you and I were talking before the show, suffering in itself is the means by which joy comes. You can't, it's like I was saying, it was almost homeopathic. You introduce that which is the cure, right?
Right.
And so suffering is just part of being here, but it's not the end result. We have to go through that journey because what's waiting for us, as you said, is peace and joy and tranquility. And so that's worth working towards.
And again, it doesn't matter where you are on the planet. We have Fatos with us here. She's in Turkey. We have Jennifer. I'm assuming Jennifer's still here in Tucson, but we have Charlotte and Dawn. Lots of folks with us today. So reach out, pass this on to your friends and family. We're not here to have to make a lot of money or have Bev be the guru of all gurus.
Oh,
We'll leave that to me. No, just
right. Oh, master of the universe.
and we joke about that because you out there are the master. You are the teacher. You are the healer. What I always loved about BioTouch is that old timer said, Norman and Carol brought love to the Mancos Valley.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you believe. As we're waking up to our own biases, our own racist attitudes, our own fears, our own judgments, that's what's happening now. And to have BioTouch to meet us in all of those awarenesses, healing's going to happen. And love will partake of itself on this planet just with that little touch. I'm telling you, folks, I wouldn't dedicate over 30 years of my life to doing this if I really didn't believe that.
Right. You could have been living out in the boonies.
Out in the boonies, or go work for my brother and make a multi-million selling jewelry. I mean, it's but this is important stuff, and we are grateful to share it with you. We have another workshop coming up, and that workshop is going to be about fibromyalgia. We have Tiffany Hodges, who is a physical therapist who works a lot with this, and she's going to tell us what it is, how it comes to be, some of the things we can do, and then we're going to teach you just a few sets of points on how to address fibromyalgia. Again, that's only going to be live on Facebook, 6 p.m. Arizona, Phoenix time. If you're looking it up to translate it. And we always want you to know that massage therapists, nurses, doulas, you can all receive a 1 CE credit. Just go to justtouch.com/CE credits and sign up to take that. We just do that on a donation basis. There's no real fee for that. We're just grateful to be offering that. So that's going to be July 23rd. That's a Thursday night at 6 p.m. So, anything else? Any questions from those out there in La La Land? So, we also want you to know one of the only ways that we're able to continue offering these and have our website, have our office here to offer this, is through the contributions that are coming from people. So, if you're available out there to, even if it's $1, to $100 or whatever you can do, or just send us some good BioTouch vibes. There's a donate button on this posting, and we always appreciate that since we haven't been able to open the center since March. It's been a long time. It's amazing how long this has been. We're hoping to maybe open up on a short-term basis here as soon as things calm down a little, maybe August. So we'll see. But we have these. And you got Bev in home, and you got Paul in your home. If you have any questions, you just contact us at office@justtouch.com. We're here to be of service.
Yep.
Thanks, Bev.
Thank you, Paul.
That was awesome.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes. So let BioTouch meet your suffering, and send us a note. Let us know how it's working for you. So until next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand the healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action.